I was preaching about a lot of stuff and people didn't know I was still drinking heavy. Man. I would probably come to church hungover. There's a difference between struggling with sin and living in sin. That's for sure. Like, I got my Bible right here, like just right here in this room, bro. Like, Lord, like, why you ain't taking this alcohol away from me? I thought you loved me, like, blah blah. Welcome to episode 1 of Christian Alcoholism. Woo! Thank y'all for tuning in. And like I said, I wanted to kick off this series talking about my struggle as a Christian with alcoholism, but across the board, like a lot of the struggles that I had, especially with alcoholism. But January 2025, I got saved, and from feeling so high with God's love, I was like, let me take a break off drinking. I wasn't even trying to quit. I took a break and it was like 45 days. I never went 45 days. I never stopped drinking for 45 days ever since I started drinking. And I started drinking when I was young. Boy, I was like 13. I know that's crazy, right? I was like 13. So I took a break off 45 days. And then after that, I started drinking again. And I just started drinking heavy again, even as a Christian. And the crazy thing about it is my love for the Lord was was growing, and my relationship with God was so amazing. I felt good. He was teaching me a lot. I was hearing from God, and there was just a lot of ambition in me and hunger. And then eventually I started noticing I couldn't stop drinking, and I was like, dang, dude, like my life is kind of being like, I'm like my life is like amazing, but then I'm like struggling, and the alcoholism got bad. Like I was like messing up at work. I was feeling unhealthy. I wake up and mind you, I was like reading my Bible sometimes drunk, and I would wrestle with God like in my head. Like I remember like just like crying at night with my Bible open. Like I got my Bible right here, like just right here in this room, bro. Like, Lord, like, why you ain't taking this alcohol away from me? I thought you loved me, like, blah blah. But I would never curse the Lord out. You know what I mean? I would never be mad. Like I would never actually be mad. It was kind of just like a kid, like a brat not getting what they wanted. You know what I mean? Because I was like, God, why aren't you taking this away from me? And I was preaching about a lot of stuff, and people didn't know I was still drinking heavy. Man. I would probably come to church hungover. It was just to a point where I was like, it's cool. Like, I still love the Lord with all my heart. He, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knows I love him, but I'm still drinking. Eventually, God took it away from me, and I don't even remember when or how. I think I was just like, God, like, I think it was one moment in my walk where I just fully surrendered, like, here, Lord, just take it all. And that's funny because somebody asked me a little while ago, like, how do you fully surrender? Like, what does that look like, bro? What does a full surrender look like to the Lord? And that's a good question to ask. For me personally, what it looked like for me was for sure like denying yourself, for sure saying and knowing and acknowledging and confessing, like, God, I'm nothing without you. God, I want you to take control because I can't take control anymore. And I just want to live through you and live for you. And just stuff like that, So like confession is like the first step. And for me, that just brought it to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? Like I started confessing more stuff. I started like being that, like at that moment, I was like being real with the Lord. Like I was talking to him like he's my homie, you know what I'm saying? But with the ultimate respect. But then, like full surrender just looks like, like it's not me. I'm a follow you. It's not just reading the Bible. It's not just going to church. It's just for real. Like, what am I living holy and righteous? Am I living up to God's standards? Am I living up to the Jesus standard, right? Am I actually honoring God with everything that I do? You know what I mean? So and then eventually he took it away from me, and I just like, and I say this with the ultimate respect to people, because there's a lot of people out there that be judging other people like, oh, he's struggling with sin. Woo, 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 woo. If you struggling with sin, you can't let nobody tell you anything. Talk to the Lord about it, because I promise you, like, it's so hard. I was vaping too. That's another story. We gonna talk about the vaping next time. But I was vaping too, and just mind you, like, you can't get drunk. You can't make it into the kingdom being a drunkard. It says that in the word for sure. But what I'm saying is, You could try, like you could keep trying to follow the Lord even through your sin. Yes, I'm gonna say it right now, whatever. Yeah, if you love the Lord with all your heart, you're gonna try, bro. You would make a mistake if we're struggling with sin and we're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Let me just turn my back from God. He don't want that. God said he gave us he has a plan for us, plans to prosper and just an abundant life. And the thing is, like, I lost my train of thought. Dang. So don't let anybody tell you about your struggling with sin. Like, don't ever let anybody look down on you, because only God knows, you know what I mean? So, but then there's a difference between struggling with sin and living in sin. That's for sure. Like, if you like, and I know this because I was going through this, like the drinking, I was for sure struggling with it. It wasn't like, whatever, Lord, I could drink. Yeah, I know this is bad. No, it was more like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what it's like to go through alcoholism or an addiction unless you are going through alcoholism or an addiction. I'm sorry, it sounds judgmental, but it's the truth. You can't judge your brother and sister for having an addiction when you've never had an addiction yourself. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because once I was going through an addiction and went out of it, I was like, dang, that was hard. So mind you, there was days where I would drink. And I was literally, I didn't want to, but I physically like felt like it's a nice day. Whatever, I'm not going to drink. Next thing you know, I'm like, whatever, just one. Next thing you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, why am I so attached to this thing? So just like Paul in Romans, is it Romans? I forgot what book Paul says that, he does the things that he doesn't want, and he doesn't want to do the things that he does. Like, everybody has a struggle, bro. We're only human. Only Jesus Christ is perfect. But it's a lot to absorb, and that's a lot to like take in. But yeah, on the next episode, stick around. I'm gonna talk about how like I was struggling with alcoholism even at a young age. You know what I mean? Before Christ. Alcohol sucks, man. And still get the little moments where I'm like, damn, I want a drink. But when I get those urges, I just do a little spindrift. You feel me? And this is not brought to you by Spindrift. I'm not promoted by anybody but Jesus Christ himself. This video is promoted by Jesus. So hope y'all enjoy all the videos. Yay!